Lehman Brothers, the collapse that changed America. So the question echoing the next morning was, how could a company older than your great-great-grandparents just vanish? To answer that, we need to revisit something familiar: borrowing money. Imagine you want to buy a $300,000 home, but you have only $10,000 stashed away. A bank then loans you the remaining amount. This is called a mortgage. You repay it slowly over years, adding a little extra called interest, which is essentially the borrowing fee. In the early 2000s, US banks, including Lehman Brothers, began granting home loans to nearly anyone who applied, even those likely unable to repay. Why? Because home prices consistently climbed each year. So banks reasoned, if someone defaults, we'll just reclaim the house and sell it for more than what we loaned. It seemed like an unbeatable strategy. But Lehman went a step further. They gathered thousands of these loans, packaged them like a gift, and sold them globally to investors, banks, pension funds, and even foreign governments, branding them as safe investments. Wall Street coined the term mortgage bond to describe this. In simpler words, it was a collection of others' house payments repackaged and sold like a savings account. For years, everything worked like a dream. Profits soared. Lehman employees enjoyed significant bonuses. They continued borrowing more money to engage in riskier ventures, since making money paved the way for more borrowing. This strategy is known as leverage. Picture leverage like this: using a $10 allowance to promise $300 in repayments, betting that your allowance will keep growing. Lehman was doing this, but with billions, wagering nearly $30 for every dollar they owned. Then came 2007, and everything changed. House prices stopped their ascent. They began plummeting rapidly. Borrowers who had taken on loans they couldn't afford started defaulting. It began with a few thousand, then grew to millions. When borrowers ceased mortgage payments, those safe bundles Lehman had sold suddenly became unsafe. They dropped in value, in some cases becoming almost worthless overnight. Here's the unsettling truth. Lehman hadn't merely sold these risky bundles to others. They held vast amounts for themselves, believing house prices could never crash simultaneously everywhere. It constituted one of history's biggest financial bets, and it was about to unravel catastrophically. By early 2008, Lehman was burdened with tens of billions of these bad loans, and few were interested in buying them. To present a healthier facade, Lehman engaged in clever accounting, quietly shifting debt off their books before reporting earnings, then moving it back days later. Employees dubbed it Repo 105. Today, many refer to it for what it truly was: concealing the facts. In March 2008, Bear Stearns, a smaller Wall Street firm, collapsed under similar pressures and needed a hurried rescue. This served as a forewarning, akin to seeing a neighboring house flood before the storm hits your street. Investors started pondering a risky question. If Bear Stearns fell so quickly, could Lehman be next? Richard Full, Lehman's CEO, appeared on television, declaring the company financially robust. He repeatedly denied any issues. However, behind closed doors, Lehman's cash was vanishing swiftly. Their stock value, a measure of company worth, dwindled every week. Clients started withdrawing their funds. Other banks grew apprehensive and wanted no dealings with Lehman whatsoever. By September 2008, Lehman was in dire straits. They needed a miracle, a buyer, anyone to save them before panic could lead to complete collapse. Two banks stepped forward: Bank of America and British bank Barclays. Over one tense weekend, key bankers and US officials locked themselves in a New York room, racing against time to craft a rescue plan before Monday's stock market opening. Bank of America withdrew first, opting to save another struggling company instead. That left Barclays, and for a brief moment, it seemed a deal might happen. But British regulators wouldn't approve it swiftly. They didn't want to entangle London with Wall Street's chaos. Then came an earth-shattering decision. The US government, which had intervened to save other firms months prior, chose not to rescue Lehman Brothers. No buyer, no bailout, no safety net. At 1:45 a.m. on September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers officially declared bankruptcy, conceding they couldn't repay their debts. They carried $6 or $13 billion in debt. This marked the largest corporate collapse in American history. By dawn, the news was plastered across TV screens. Employees exiting their Manhattan office in stunned silence, holding cardboard boxes filled with personal belongings and coffee mugs, uncertain of what lay ahead. However, Lehman's fall wasn't confined to a single building in New York. Because Lehman was intricately connected to banks, retirement funds, and investors globally, its descent triggered ripples throughout the world economy within hours. Stock markets plunged from New York to Tokyo and London. Banks lost trust in each other and halted lending, even among themselves. Within weeks, the globe found itself in the clutches of the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Millions of Americans lost jobs. Families lost homes. Many who had no ties to Wall Street saw their savings dwindle overnight. So here's the crucial question, the one to remember long after you forget the name Lehman Brothers. Why does this matter to you? Lehman didn't collapse due to a single bad decision. It failed because for years, the entire company convinced itself that borrowing ever more money was safe, as long as everything remained favorable. When the tide turned, there was nothing solid to rely on at all. This lesson transcends Wall Street. It applies to your first credit card, first car loan, or buy now, pay later purchase. Borrowing money isn't inherently negative. Many people must borrow at some stage. But borrowing more than you can afford and assuming things will always improve? That's the exact misstep that brought down one of America's mightiest banks. Lehman Brothers didn't fall due to one single disastrous day. It fell slowly, one precarious decision at a time, mistaking borrowed money for true strength, until nothing remained to support it.